An Israeli Jewish historian reveals the falsity of the Zionist narrative and how the Zionists stole Palestine. Hear the story. Ilan Pappé, who was born in Haifa to parents came from Germany to escape the Holocaust. First of all, Ilan was raised on the Zionist narrative and served in the Israeli army for a while. Then, the moment of truth has come. When he traveled to Britain to complete his study and looked at the documents hidden in the British archives and discovered the truth.
1930s, especially from the late 1930s onwards, they did start to discuss it very intensively, but still secretly. So I think it wasn't possible for many Palestinians to know what we know today as historians because it was in the archive.
Ilan wrote the most important and daring book that challenges Israeli history, collective memory, and most importantly, Israeli conscience, if it exists. He reveals that there was no Israel before 1948 and there was no war between two parties to declare its independence, and how the British facilitated the immigration of Jewish to Palestine and trained them to occupy the Palestinian villages.
From the very early moment that the Zionist movement targeted Palestine as the place for Jewish independence and statehood, and it was clear that there were Palestinians on the land, Zionist leaders and common people alike got used to the idea that the only way of making Palestine a Jewish state is by causing the Palestinians to leave.
Here, for example, he talked about Ord Wingett, a British officer trained the Haganah gang.
Ord Wingett was very racist towards the Arabs. During his role as a British army officer in the Arab Revolt, that he decided to append to his units Jewish soldiers, and he taught them how to occupy Palestinian villages, expel them, destroy them, and I think in many ways he contributed directly to the ideas of ethnic cleansing that would be perpetrated on the ground in 1948.
And there is something very important. Palestinians were receiving Jewish people kindly and with warm hospitality. Of course, at that time, they wouldn't know what the Zionists planned for.
The first stage was the collection of material about every village in Palestine. This was called the Village Files project. So there's a lot of information about the quality of the land, how rich the people were, to the extent that they even knew how many fruit are on each tree, there is on each tree, what were the political affiliation of people, how easy or how difficult it would be to occupy it. They were actually exploiting Arab hospitality, because if you come to a village in Palestine, it doesn't matter who you are, you're invited. And they used that hospitality in order to spy around.
Yes, we received you one day, but what did you do?
A small group of Zionist leaders and military commanders met regularly on a weekly basis from February 1947 to February 1948 for a whole year, planning the ethnic cleansing of Palestine.
Ilan mentions in his book that, according to percentage, half of the population of Palestine was expelled and half of their cities and villages were destroyed. I met Ilan Pappé one day and he spoke to me confidently about the liberation of what's supposed to be his country because he knows the truth.
That the struggle for liberation has never ended, still continues, and one day will succeed. Every individual Palestinian, wherever he or she are continuing the liberation struggle. And with this energy, there is no way that the struggle will not succeed. It may take longer, we may need to be patient.
And by the way, I didn't forget to ask him, if Israel disappeared from the map, you would be a citizen for which country? Let's see what he said.
Well, I will be a citizen of the new state, the liberated state of Palestine. And if you read the Palestinian visions, it's a state where Jews, Muslims, Christians can live together jointly, democratically. And this would be good news not only for the Palestinians, it would be good news for the Jews in Palestine and in the world.
Okay. We have evidence on our narrative more than you thought. What do you have? Body of lies? Okay, let's play.